Alright, we went to go see Scream, 5 or whatever they're gonna be calling it these days.
I think
Uh,
it's just called Scream.
yeah, Scream. You all know what this kind of movie is. So, well, I really did like this, but I mean, it's Scream. So if you're not into this kind of stuff, then you're probably not gonna like this movie. But I really enjoyed it. It was much better than 3 and 4. Uh,
I liked number 4.
uh,
The fifth
it could have
one.
been better.
It
It
was Emma Roberts.
Yeah, it
I
it
liked
kind
her.
of just was a little more slower paced, I
Yeah.
guess. But I guess drug on. But anyways,
Yeah. This one was good though too.
yeah,
But
they
like it is Scream, so it is a little repetitive in some moments and parts and stuff. So
this is honestly really the only slash my this is like one of my favorite slasher movies because it's so different from like say Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it's literally it can be anyone that you know could be the villain,
right.
and you don't know how many there are gonna be until like you get to that point in the movie. Acting was really good. I'm so happy they brought the original characters back.
Yeah, I think they call them legendary character or
Yeah,
legacy
legacy
characters.
characters.
So
Um,
the movie it was
it kind of
good.
pissed me off a little bit, but we'll get to that later. Uh,
It was very Scream. Like they, even though this is the one film without Wes Craven's involvement,
Rest in peace.
it was very similar to the originals. It was
Hmm.
like
Yeah, they really
it didn't get too crazy or extreme. It is updated though to like our world. Like they have automatic locks on their house doors
yeah.
and stuff like that. So that was
I'm
pretty
happy they did
cool.
that because it's like going with the times. Uh, there's action in it. There's action in it. It doesn't drag as much as 4 and 3 did. Like it does get to the point pretty quick, but it doesn't really spoil anything until like later, like normally. But so it didn't really. There wasn't really a place where I was uninterested or sucked out of it. Uh, what do you What do you think?
It was good. I really enjoyed it. There's a couple things that were a little off for me, I guess. Like spoiler, they introduced a new Cindy Prescott.
Yeah.
And the connection's kind of okay. It's just it's very it's gotten to the point where it's not really connected, but it's more like fan obsession. Um, I mean, it was good. It was handled okay.
Mm.
There, I felt like it depended a lot on the original cast, though.
Yeah, it did. If the
Um,
original cast wouldn't have been there,
yeah,
then this movie probably
like
would have tanked.
so all that they really brought back was like Dewey, Cindy, and Gail Weathers,
The plot was fine. I like the
and
plot.
Officer Judy.
Yeah.
They brought her back. She has a son now. Um, and I'm assuming like the son's name is Wes. I'm assuming that's like a little,
Hint at Wes Craven.
yeah, like a little,
Hmm.
admiration or whatever. Um, and it referenced some other horror movies. Um, like without intentionally like, what's
Which
your favorite scary movie? Like
that's your
it's
typical
similar
Scream.
scenes,
Scream. That's nothing new for Scream. They do that all
right?
the time. Um. Yeah. This is also better than the TV series that we don't really talk about. But um. The acting was well done. The new characters that they added, they did fine. They were, the one problem though, like, so there are two villains here, and the one character I predicted just right away as soon as he came into the movie. I knew it was something off about him, and I was right.
Right.
Now the other person that they had, I did not see coming at all, and like.
I kind of seen it coming though after the one scene.
I don't know, she just wasn't really there, so there wasn't enough
Right, but
screen
that makes her
time.
the perfect villain.
I really didn't have a connection with her because of that.
I
Like,
didn't.
she kind of just felt like all of a sudden there's a new character. Like, they kind of rushed her character. I don't know if they didn't have, like, if a lot of her stuff was later in the movie, because it was just all of a sudden, oh wait, who the hell is this chick? So it's
Right.
like,
But
you don't,
see,
but once they start doing what they're doing, it's like, oh, it's just like, it's her.
yeah,
But,
but see, I kind of got it from the beginning just because, like, you guys know we suck at, like, we just talk freely and spoilers, whatever.
mm,
At the beginning of the movie, the new Cindy Prescott, I don't even remember her name, honestly. I think it's,
mm,
I don't even know. Um,
statement.
anyway, like, her acting was fine or whatever, but her sister gets attacked and she survives. She was stabbed like 11 times or something. She's in the hospital, and there's this one girl, I believe her name was Amber.
Yeah, Amber, that was her name.
Right. It showed her in the beginning, like, if you do something, I'm gonna kill your friend Amber. So it kind of set it up like she couldn't be the killer. But the way she acted towards the little sister in the hospital that was stabbed, and the way she acted towards the sister that the older sister, the new Cindy, that abandoned the little sister, it just seemed like jealousy, like she was gonna join the killer to get rid of the older sister, and stuff like that.
Well,
So there was a lot of hints, even though she was in the movie a lot. I could read some of the, but like something wasn't right. She was just kind of like she was
yeah,
intentionally
like,
not put there a lot because I don't know. There's just something always off about her. And the one colored girl, she was one of the twins, her and her brother. She was like Cindy's best friend in the originals.
mm,
That got killed in a van that shouldn't have survived. He was very movie savvy and self aware, and so was she in this film. Um, and that's what Scream does. Scream does pretty decently, is everyone's self aware. This one, it's a little too much.
but yeah,
They're a little too self
right,
aware.
right when that guy is on Netflix, I instantly knew. Like, I just knew. Like,
What guy on Netflix?
the killer, the one killer that was the guy that was.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because he was acting stupid, like he doesn't know what scream or stab is and
Stab
stuff
is,
like that.
yeah.
So it's like, how, like, you're gonna. That's sus. That's very suspicious.
Right.
Um, and that's why I didn't see the girl coming because she didn't do anything like that. She just, I like.
She just showed a lot of jealousy towards.
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily mean she's gonna be the killer. It just means keep
Right.
an eye
It's
on her.
just in the
But
typical
in the
movie nowadays.
yeah,
It's the MO.
but I
So
personally didn't really have much of a connection with her. Um,
my favorite character was the twins.
yeah, those, yeah,
So I mean, like Cindy, Gail, Dewey. Like Dewey's always a favorite,
this if you like
but
Dewey,
it does
you're gonna
like
love this movie,
yeah.
but you're gonna fucking hate this movie.
Yeah, it's a big
But
focus on Dewey in this film, and
and I do
I
appreciate
understand.
that. I mean,
Unfortunately,
now
another spoiler,
back to
Dewey
where I
dies.
started. He dies.
Yeah, but like
Um,
it wrote him off in a way. Like
there was
there was
nothing
nothing
more
else you
for
could do
him
with
to
his
do.
story without repeating.
He
Like
would have just kept repeating the same thing over and over and over
right,
again. His story arc is done.
right. So if they decided to make
Um,
more, which I don't think they should.
but God, I was so
Um,
mad when they did that because he was one of my favorite
yeah,
characters.
I don't think they should make another one. But if they did, like there
I
would be no
Yeah,
plot for him. There,
no.
he will just be a
I don't know if they're
character,
gonna
like
make a
with
sixth
no
one.
meaning.
I thought I heard something about them making a sixth one too, and if they did, that would probably be like the last one. But
I don't see where they could go after this one with how this one was.
right,
I
I
mean, what
don't
else
know.
is it like? They did the mother's ex boss. They did the mother's son, mother's affair son. Like they did all these connections, and then this one was all about fan fiction, like.
Oh yeah, they're throwing fan fiction in you left and right.
So this was fan
It is
obsession and
very
fan fiction.
tropey.
I do not see what they could do good for a next movie. Um, I just
Right.
don't know what they like. It would. I think it'd just be too much.
Yeah.
Because even though I enjoyed this movie, it was very like the first film, and there was a
Yeah, they
lot of
really
callbacks.
went
It was
back
a
to the
little
first one, which is
repetitive.
what they needed to do.
Yeah, it was still
Um,
good, but it was a little like, oh, it's Scream. Like I was excited because it's Scream, but it's also like, oh,
Great. I
it's
mean,
Scream
yeah.
5. So
Great costume designs. I really like that they kept Ghostface like the original, unlike the TV series, which fucked that up. Um, there was gore. The gore was this is the most goriest Scream you're gonna get. This is like none of the other ones were really all that gory, but this one shows gore and intestines and stuff like that. So,
yeah, it's
like
pretty
that
gory.
does really help. That does help too, as
I think
well.
it did get a rated R.
I think
R
I think
rated.
they're all rated R.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I think they say it's like
Oh,
once or
maybe,
twice.
but
Um, and another thing, a lot of the other movies were like focused on the teenagers. This one
mhm,
was focused on the adults.
right. Um,
I think only two people died from
here's
the
Coco.
actual
This is
teen
Coco.
group.
Say hi.
So I think only two people actually died from the teen group, but the rest were adults. So,
Mhm.
like poor Officer Judy, they tricked her and she just ran blindly into that knife, which makes no sense because she's an officer. And the killer called her and said, "I'm in the house. I'm gonna kill your son." And she just runs in blindly, no gun, nothing. Like she
Yeah.
was not strategic.
Oh,
I
and then
guess
there
it
was
just makes
also
sense because like it was her son, so she wasn't thinking clearly. But that was kind of not a good way to kill her.
another thing that happened that like didn't make any sense though, which was really like kind of like it was dumb, but it's like okay, this is your fifth movie into the Scream franchise. How the hell can you not shoot right? That like she's trying to shoot at him at like Ghostface, and she's literally missing all three times, and it's like she's not even aiming right. Like it,
She didn't miss though. It showed that Ghostface was wearing a bulletproof vest.
but the way that they filmed
The,
it, she missed, and it crashed the glass. That's like she didn't hit him. She hit around him. Like this is your fifth movie. You think you'd be a better shot than that? Um,
it wasn't Cindy that shot though. It was the new girl.
uh,
It was
I
in the
think it's a
hospital.
no. It wasn't at the hospital. It was.
Oh, see,
It
that's
was.
why I
It
don't know what
was.
you're talking
It
about.
was earlier in the movie because she's getting attacked, and then there's like this glass like
If it
cabinet
was
thing.
earlier in the movie, then it wouldn't have been Cindy because Cindy didn't come till after Dewey died.
It was after then. Then
Okay, so it
like
was later.
it was. It was like
Okay.
yeah. It was like
I'm
later.
just trying
Like
to think so I can
yeah.
visualize what you're talking about.
But she's like bang, 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 and then he's like right here. It's like how did you miss three times? Like how did you survive?
Right. They could be, even though it looks bad, being extra cautious because the Alec Baldwin
Yeah, that could
filming
be it too.
incident with the prop master not
But
properly
Walking Dead does
checking.
the same kind of shit too, where they're firing and they're completely missing. They like oh these guys in the middle and you just fire off to the left or to the right and completely miss. So
But it
like
also makes it look more realistic because these aren't trained killers. They aren't trained gunsmiths or shooters or anything. So they're not
well,
going to be able to handle that pressure
but like
or that kickback from the gun.
the
And
newer characters, but like Cindy, she even references
it's been
I'm
like,
I'm I'm Cindy Prescott. Of course I got a gun. So
right,
that right
but
there
then
insinuate that she knows how to defend herself.
I understand that, but it's also 10 years later, 20 years later, I don't know. It's a big chunk of time later.
Yeah, I
She's
guess she could be a
married, she
little
has
rusty,
kids.
but
So,
still, like she always has that gun on her the whole 10 years, so you wouldn't really think, oh, she'd forget
right,
how to
but it
shoot a
doesn't
gun.
imply that she's going to the shooting range to practice her shoulder. Like, there's a lot of stuff that could explain it, but, like, your point makes sense, too. Because she's even like, are are you kidding me? I'm Cindy Prescott. Like, makes it sound all cocky and stuff. Like, she does have a gun, so, she shouldn't be aiming like shit.
Right. Choreography was really good. The action scenes were really good. For the most part, the the plot was great. The twists were there.
They brought it, like, I know we mentioned it before, but it was really brought back to the first film. Like, they took it down, all the way down
The
to
first
Stu's
two,
house.
the first two movies are what
I
it
believe
really felt like.
I believe it was Stu's house where they killed everybody in the first film.
Yeah.
They took it back to the original house. And that's how that girl got involved, because she found out where she moved and about the house, and then she got on these little groups for the fan fiction on the internet, and that's where she met the boyfriend of the new Cindy. I don't remember her name.
Also, like,
they didn't address, like, it was kind of weird, because you assume the sister's probably 3 to 5 years older, like the new Cindy, the older one, is 3 to 5 years older than the little sister. So you could say she's like 20, 25, and the little sister's 15 to 18 or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And her best friend Amber is one of the killers. Well, the boyfriend is somewhere in his 20s. They didn't really explain the age gap, but the man they cast for the boyfriend looks a lot older than Amber. So it was a little cringy because they were like calling each other baby and stuff.
Yeah, that was a little awkward.
If he shaved or whatever, he probably would have looked younger. Again, we don't know their ages though. He's at least 18 because he's out of school and everything like that, and the other ones are in school. But it was just a little weird because.
So the one thing that they didn't do a good job of is it was predictable. You know that these guys are new people, and and they don't know what the hell they're doing. So obviously they're gonna bring in the original characters. They're gonna find some way to bring them out and get them all together as a gang. So that was pretty predictable, because like, I mean, how else were they gonna really do it? Like, they could have, that's normally how they do these kinds of movies, so I guess, I don't know. I knew, like, right when it started what was going to happen here. Um, Other than that, it's really not, the plot is better, like, as it goes on, but that chunk right there it just felt like it was forced. Like, in order for us to bring the old characters back, we have to bring these new characters in, and they need help.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what's going on.
I feel like the old characters were a little forced as well. Just because even though they weren't in it as much, Dewey was, but the girls weren't.
Yeah.
They were still a main storyline. Like, Cindy Prescott's great, but like, you're out of Woodsboro or whatever. Go away. Like, you're done.
Right. She's trying, but they keep sequel baiting.
Right. So, but I mean, it was still good. I give the movie a 6. I think it's a little better than the average film, but it had its flaws.
I'm gonna give it a 7. Because it was a good movie. It could have been better, but it's just there was stuff there that like didn't resonate. So it's a 7. It's still a good movie. Go see it. I mean, it's definitely want to go see it. Support it.
Some of the pointers for me that like took the score down is self-aware is nice, but they just did it too much. They were literally like
in your face. In your face.
It was like,
in your face.
These are the
in your
rules
face.
to survive, and you're not following the rules, and it was very, very, very self-aware.
You can't like establish that there's rules and then you break the rules.
Right.
Like, that is annoying as fuck.
Right. The new girl, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. She was like, oh, this is the rules, thanks for your help, and then she ignores everything. So
Like that,
why
like
even get help?
that's just
But I
bad
docked her for
writing.
points because it was super, super, super self-aware. Um, and then like, even though it was great, and I did like that it was kind of close to the first one, it also like you show that you're almost out of ideas.
Yeah,
Because you're almost copying the first movie.
right.
That's
Yeah.
basically what you're doing. It's two psychos.
But if you want to wait, you don't have to go see it in theaters. But if you want to, but I mean, you could see it on like demand.
Yeah.
You can rent it for
And
save it for home if you want.
another thing is
But
Billy Loomis's ghost is in this film because the main character is his daughter.
yeah,
It doesn't, unless I missed it. It did show a picture of mom, but I didn't connect it. We don't know who the mom is. Who did Billy Loomis sleep with
yeah.
and cheating on Cindy Prescott with in
They
high
don't
school?
really go into that.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And it didn't explain, like, it kind of explained why she was seeing him because it showed that she had, like, PTSD and was, like, it was just very, basically PTSD from finding out her father was Billy Loomis. But Billy wasn't bad in it either. He wasn't, like, a psycho. He was trying
No.
to protect her and stuff like that. So it was a little out of character for him, but it made sense in the fatherly way.
Mm.
But he could have been omitted completely from like being the ghost part, and it would have done nothing to the film, except for the one time where he encouraged her to pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
Um.
like I don't know, it made sense when I was watching it, but the more I think about it, it's like yeah.
It's like okay, I gotta turn my brain off now.
Yeah, so I give it a 6. I still say
7.
support it and go see it.
Uh.
Um,
But yeah, that's our take on it. If you want, you can leave it in the comment section. What'd you think? What'd you think of Scream? I'd
yeah,
like to
did you go
know.
see it, or are you waiting for it to come on stream?
But
And let us know what else you might want us to review
all right,
or ramble about,
yeah,
nonetheless.
ramble. But all right, later, guys. See you in the next video. And I got another video I'm gonna be doing, or a video here after this. But yeah, for right now, this is we're here. So, all right, later, guys.